Good day. So earlier I already created another server which is Tedramj, which is also our second domain controller. So now let's go to my server 1 and check if we have two domain controllers. So tools, directory, users and computers, and domain controllers. So as you can see, we have two domain controllers here. So now let's go to my users. And earlier I already created an account in our server 1, which is Lee. So this account must be also appear on our server 2. So now let's go to my server 2. On my server 2, let's also check if we have two domain controllers. So on our domain controllers, so yes, we also have two domain controllers. So now let's go to users and check if the account our server 1 is also here. So So now let's log off or shut down our server 1. So our server 1, let's log out this. And now let's go to my client 1 and client 2. So on the client 1, let's log on the app. And also our client 2. So our client 1, let's go ping 1 to make sure that it is already shut down. So ping, so request timeout, so it means that we cannot ping our server 1 and it's shut down. And now let's go to client 2 and ping our server 1. We cannot also ping our server 1 here. So our client, server 1, and the account in our client 1. Let's also log off this. Now we will going to create an account on our server 2. So let's also check if we have two domain controllers here. So we have two domain controllers and users. And also earlier I already created our server 2, which is Andy's Ray. So this account must also be appear on our server 1. And let's go to my server 1. So let's check the and go to our users. So now let's look for Andy's Ray account that we created on our server 2. So it's here. So now let's go shut down the server 2 and use server 1 and see if in with the domain through our server 1. So let's shut down authentication. So now let's log on the account on client 1 and client 2. So it's 8, and then our array. So let's go to make 2 to make sure that it is really shut down. So we cannot ping the client 2 because it's really shut down. And now let's go to let's ping our client. So we cannot also ping our server 2. So it means that client 1 and client 2 are replicating from one another. So if the client 1 is shut down, we can use client 2 as our authentication. So we could log on the account or user account that we create both server 1 and server 2. If one of